everybody, welcome to another math video. For this video, I'll be talking about points, lines, line segments, rays, and angles. And I know that's a handful, but I won't be doing any examples. We're just going through all these basic stuff, okay? So I'm gonna make sure that we label all these correctly and that we're able to identify them correctly too. Okay, so first we'll talk about points. So we'll focus on point A there. So there's two ways you can name point A. Okay, so you can actually write out point A like so, or you can use the dot with whatever label the point has. So like I mentioned, we're talking about point A, so we can use this dot here. It looks kind of like a bullet, but it's just basically like a dot, and we just say point A. That's how you label that. So like with any of these, point B, you could write it out like this. This is like the shorthand notation if you don't feel like writing it out. And that's basically how you label points, or how you name points. Okay. The other way is by actually writing out the ordered pair, but it's easier to say point A instead of saying 4 4 all the time, or whatever its ordered pairs are. Okay. Next we got lines, and what's distinctive about this is that lines have arrows on the ends, signifying that they keep going on forever in both directions. Okay, so there's a couple ways you could name this. So one is just writing it out, line AB, and you wouldn't be wrong if you put down line BA, okay, because it doesn't matter which way you're going, because it goes infinitely in either direction, so in either direction is still the same line. Okay, now if you're writing in symbols, then you'll notice that it's got this line above it. So you got the two letters, the 2 points on the line, and if there were more than 2 points, you just pick any two, especially if it had arrows on the end, and you just put a line with arrows on it right above it. So this is the shorthand notation for how to label lines. Okay, and again, you can write it as BA with the line with 2 arrows over it. It's the same thing. I know a lot of math teachers, they like to do things in alphabetical order, and I'm the same way. So, but I'm not saying that writing it BA with the line with the 2 arrows above it is wrong. But after doing it for so long, we just like doing things in alphabetical order. That's just the way it is. But like I said, you wouldn't be wrong if you switch the order of the letters. So do whatever you feel is right. Okay, next we got line segments, and this differs from lines in that you have 2 distinct endpoints. So you notice in this, for line segments here, there's no arrows on the end on either side. So it's like we're taking the line and we're cutting a chunk out of it, and we're just looking at the little piece. Okay, so for this one, you can label it as line segment with the 2 endpoints, and it's important you use the correct endpoints. Okay, because let's say there was another point in the middle here, let's say call it C. If you said line segment AC, then you'd be talking about where A and C connect. But if you said line segment CB or BC, then you only be talking about where C and B connect. Okay, so you gotta be careful on how you label your things here. Okay, another way you can label this shorthand is almost like the line, but the line segment doesn't have the arrows on the end. And again, order doesn't matter. We like, a lot of math teachers like to do it in alphabetical order, like the lines. The old way of doing it was to put 2 dots on the end to signify that it's a segment and not a continuous line. But it kind of doesn't matter anymore. We get lazy and we don't put the dots on, and we understand that it's a line segment and not a line. Alright, so next up are rays. So rays are kind of like lines and line segments kind of put together, where you start off with the endpoint and it goes off infinitely in one direction. Okay, so Again, two ways you can label this. We got ray A, B, and this time order is important in this. So the shorthand notation is written like this. So it's got the line with an arrow pointing, and generally we go from left to right, so the arrow will be on the right side. Now the thing about labeling rays is that you always start from the endpoint and go in the direction where it's going infinitely. So if you label this ray BA, that would be wrong, because that's saying that this ray starts at point B and you pass through point A as it keeps going. But that's not the case, because here we're starting with point A and it's going continuously in this direction, passing through point B. Okay, so rays, you have to label them in a specific order, because the first letter tells you where you're starting and the second letter tells you it's going in that direction. Okay? That's important. Okay, lastly we got angles. Okay, so angles are made up of two rays connected, and it's got this point here which is called the vertex. So there's a few ways we can label this. So one way is by writing up the entire thing. Right, the shorthand notation is this little symbol right here. This is the angle, and you can label this angle in a bunch of different ways. Okay, so there's the important part here is that the vertex is in the middle. If you're using 3 points, the vertex always has to be in the middle, as you can see here. Or you can just label the angle with using just the letter that's in the vertex, as in this last one here. So if you label this angle ACB, you're saying that that point C is in the vertex, and you can see from this image here that would be labeling this angle incorrectly, because C is not in the vertex, B is in the vertex. So everything has to go around B for this particular angle. So whatever angle you have, whatever is in the vertex always goes in the middle. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So I mean, C could go up here, A could go here, and writing it this way or this way will still be correct. Okay, but the important thing you gotta remember is that when you're naming angles, the vertex always goes in the middle. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Like I mentioned, we won't be going through examples because, I mean, they're pretty easy to follow. And if you need a review on any of these, feel free to go back and look them over again, see how to name them correctly. Otherwise, that's it for this video. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for my next one.